Hey guys, so this is going to be my tutorial on how to plunk for summer steelhead, winter steelhead. Possibly you could even get a Chinook on with this. I ain't saying a coho wouldn't bite this, but most likely not for sockeye, Columbia cowlets. Okay, so first you're going to start out with your triple swivel. And so this is just a standard three-way swivel. You're going to have your top, your bottom, and your sideways one. You want to tie your hook shank, your leader line, off the tee. Make sure it's off the bottom of the tee though, because that's something really important. And then you're going to have a bead. Well, actually, no, I'll start probably. Then I'll go down to the hook. But I have a hook with a hoochie on there. And then there's a little bead, a bead chain, and then a bigger bead, and I have a spinning glow and then a bigger bead on top. How many beads and how much weight of beads will depend on the river you're fishing. But then going down my setup, I have probably around 3 to 4 feet of leader line. Then I have my bead chain right there, and then I have a snap swivel. I have a 4 bead chain going off to my snap swivel down to my spin and glow setup, same as down on my other end, besides it's a different colors. And then going down my bead chain instead of off the snap swivel, I have probably around 10 inches of line and a 5-ounce lead. How much that lead weighs depends on how much what the rivers you're fishing. So here's something I really wanted to talk about is make sure to check your rules and regulations. Some places you can use 1 hook, some places you can use 2 hooks. Now personally, barbed hooks you can use in not a lot of places in the Pacific Northwest, but if you can use the barbed hook, it'll help you keep fish on a lot better. So, but just check your rules and regulations for your state. It don't really matter. I live in Washington, so I just go onto my phone and look up Washington state rules and regulations. Or like, let's say I'm wondering, can you use barbed hooks? I'll go in Washington state on this river. Let's say I'm fishing a river named River X. I'll say, can I use barbed or unbarbed hooks on River X? You want to check what river. Or, here's some things. Smaller rivers and different parts of rivers have different rules. And those rules can depend on the seasons, too, and your location of the river. Now, some places there's rules for your state, and then there's some places rules for your rivers. Just check those regulations in general. Here's some that I didn't mention. You want to be using the right line with the right rod and the right reel. Here, I'll go show you my setup real quick. So, this is my rod that I fish with this strategy. Here's something. Makuma has a lifetime warranty. Some places don't honor the lifetime warranty. Some places do. I know Akuma actually does honor lifetime warranty, but all of their actual sticks or rods, depends on what you want to call it, I think almost everywhere holds up to the 1-year warranty. But I have an Akuma. Now this is a great, I think this ran me about $250 for the rod and reel. This wasn't a combo. I picked it out specially. And this is something you can buy off of their website. I went to my local outfitting shop and I bought this there, but it's an Akuma SST Special Edition, 9 foot, and the action is medium fast, 15 through 50 pound line rating. For salmon and steelhead, for any fishery, whether you're fishing on a boat or not, 60-pound line would be the farthest I would go for mainline for salmon and steelhead. But then it's 15 through 50, and the lure weight is 1 through 6 ounce. And it's a 9-foot rod, like I said. But you want to check how much the lure ounce is. Mine is around 1 through 6, like I said. But I still try to watch the weight. Because if you're using a small rod that isn't held up to the weight, when you go out to cast, the weight of the momentum of your weight flicking will snap your rod, or you trying to lift it and cast. That'll break your rod. Trust me, I've never ran into that problem, but I've always been cautious. Whatever the ounce is, I will usually run an ounce below it, unless you're using like a smaller bait caster, like this one, where it's like under an ounce castability, then use up to the limits. But then paired with it, I have an Akuma cold water, low profile. I have an Akuma cold water trolling, size 20 reel, and that's the rod I'm using. Now, when you're plunking out on the bank, one thing is, you don't have to use Akuma. This is just the setup I use, and this is pretty pricey. And this isn't a super high-tech reel, but you really, really want a line counter. You don't need a line counter, but I would say you would want a line counter. And you really want a line counter because when you're fishing, plunking, you want to be looking out for spots. And usually when you're salmon and steelhead fishing with this technique, a lot of salmon and steelhead, they'll either come up in pods or they'll come up in like smaller groups. Or sometimes it'll be a group of 2. So if you can find out like where in the water column they're hanging out, that'll really help you catch fish. Here's another thing. When you're looking for where on the river you want to fish, go onto Onyx. Go onto Onyx. I really use that app a lot when I'm hunting. But go onto Onyx and look for public fisheries if you know where to fish. Or even your fishing spot. Check if it's legal to fish. Because trust me, they're game wardens. They're a real thing, trust me. But anyhow, you want to look at rules, regulations. And another thing is when you're plunking, you're going to be wanting to look for somewhere along the shore where there's a calm eddy going upstream. So as the fish are going upstream, they can go into that eddy, that slow, calm current, or just like a drop-off, because they'll be trying to find somewhere where the current can't really hit them hard, because going upstream is hard enough. So if you're doing that properly and you can find the right areas, now all the stuff I've just told you is the difference in between catching fish and watching other people catch fish. So if you're watching this video and you're taking this all into notes, which I would do, and this isn't the most in-depth end-all be-all video. Now if you want some really good in-depth videos, search up Addicted Fishing. Trust me, their videos are really, really good quality, and they really, really help you. Guys, but anyhow, just follow that, look up your rules and regulations, watch your tides too. Look on your apps or just look at tides, because in between the tide shifts are going to be when the fish are on fire, snapping. Another thing is have a good rod holder too. So remember, tides, rules and regulations, and legal areas and the area. Well, that's all I gotta tell you guys for this video. Like and subscribe, and if you guys have any questions on anything, comment, or if you guys have any questions about or what you guys want to do next, the more followers and likes I get, the more videos I will be able to post, okay? So just post it. Well, remember, just keep fishing.